bhakti rasa that he's experiencing, that Gauranga Mahaprabhu is experiencing inside, as he's experiencing that rasa of Srimati Radharani, that is coming out as Premanama outside. To make the whole thing short, that's what is happening. God has come down to experience that rasa himself. But as he's doing that, it is automatically coming out as Harinama, not an ordinary one, but Premanama. That is, in that way, both the internal and external reasons are simultaneously happening. Yeah. Like the milk, when the milk is boiled so much, when it flows out of the pot, that thickened sweetness of the milk that is there in the pot is flowing out, the same milk, like that. It is simultaneously happening, but it is happening because internally it is happening and it is flowing out. Like that, Gauranga Mahaprabhu, his purpose is to internally relish, but the Lord, when he does things, he's so merciful that it benefits the living entities around. So though he's relishing it inside, it is flowing outside as Premanama Sankirtana. This is why Sri Narottam Das Thakura said, Golokera Premadhana Harinama Sankirtana. So from Goloka came Mahaprabhu, and he is giving this Premadhana as he's relishing it inside. So in that way, we have discussed about the three internal reasons for the descent of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, which is automatically fulfilling the external reasons of propagating the name of Lord Hari. It's so much more than propagating the name of Lord Hari, right? Propagating name of Lord Hari has happened with other incarnations too. But that Prema Nama, where Krishna Prema is embedded in the Harinama. And what kind of Krishna Prema is that? As we have just heard in these verses, that no other incarnation has ever offered before. The most elevated mill of devotional service. The most elevated mill of loving devotional service. That Krishna Prema that is most elevated. What is that mellow? That mellow of conjugal love. That too in the Manjari Bhava. These are pretty subtle and deeper aspects, but at least we get to know that what is given to us is something that is not given by any other incarnation and cannot be given by any other incarnation. Because this mellow is carried only in the heart of Srimati Radharani, so she has to come down to give us. That's why Srimati Radharani in Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Srimati Radharani came down in the mood. Internally, that's Srimati Radharani. Externally, it's Lord Krishna. That's Krishna Chaitanya. So, because she carries that mellow within her heart, only she can give when she is descending internally in the Mahaprabhu's incarnation. So, those are the reasons for the descent of Srimad Mahaprabhu. And now, we already discussed about Panchatattva. Now, we will look into the overview of Chaitanya Charitamrita. Here, to give a glimpse of when Gaurachandra descended down to our earth planet, to give us a taste of what loving devotional mellow, Prema Bhakti Rasa means. His pastimes lasted for 48 years. First 24 years, they were in Navadvip Dham. That's household life. All that is covered in Adi Leela. And the rest of the time is the other 24 years. So he moved from Navadvip Dham to Jagannathapuri after he took sannyasa. So 24 years as household life in Navadvip Dham and the rest of the 24 years as sannyasi. in Jagannath Puri. After he entered Jagannath Puri, after Gauranga entered into Jagannath Puri from Navadvipran, he stayed there for a little time but started traveling to South India. And that part is for about 6 years. Yeah. So after this 24 years, this 6 years went in travel. This is South India travel, where the wave of Bhakti Rasa, Prema Bhakti Rasa, has swept through wherever he went. And after he came back to Puri from South India Yatra, then he went to Vrindavan for a little bit of time. He went to Vrindavan and returned back from Vrindavan. So that is the rest of the time in Puri. After he returned back, these are the kind of interactions, and this is the kind of meditation Gauranga had in Jagannath Puri. The whole Chaitanya Charitamrita, especially in Antyalila, we will see everything about Vaishnava Sangha, Vaishnava association. Vaishnava association means how the Vaishnavas served each other. Chaitanya Charitamrita is full of that. We might be hearing more of what Vaishnava Seva means and how it is important, all that. But it is so important. Chaitanya Charitamrita is all about bhakti. And the whole Chaitanya Charitamrita is filled with Vaishnava Seva. What to speak of the role of Vaishnava Seva, the Anga of Vaishnava Seva in bhakti. So here the interaction with the devotees in Jagannath Puri. They will be described in detail. Also, how Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Gauranga, went into deep meditation, especially in Gambhira, when the Lord is mad after himself. Then those pastimes, they happen in Gambhira. Not everybody is allowed in that Gambhira bhajan. But those pastimes, they happened in Antyalila. That is in Jagannath Puri, that is in Gambhira. Sri Sikshashtakam comes here at the very end. So this is a quick overview of pastimes of Lord Chaitanya. Pastimes in Adilila until he takes sannyas, and pastimes after sannyas, which are divided into prachar pastimes in South India and bhajan pastimes here in Gambhira, while his pastimes are with the devotees in Jagannath Puri. So any pastime that we hear about Gauranga, they belong to one of these categories. And the philosophy about the Tattva, Gauranga, and different expansions of Krishna, all that philosophies mostly discussed here in Adilila. And of course, whenever he's interacting with different devotees, then also the philosophy is discussed. So that's why Chaitanya Charitamrita is a blend of both Tattva, philosophy, and Leela, different Leelas. When Srimad Bhagavatam comes in life and is practiced by Bhagavan himself to show us what bhakti means, that is Chaitanya Charitamrita. Okay. Now that we have an idea about this overview of pastimes, Adi Leela, Madhya Leela is preaching prachar pastimes, and the Leela is with the Vaishnavas and in the Gambhira. Okay. This slide will really give a wonderful walkthrough through the whole Chaitanya Charitamrita. This is taken from Chaitanya Charitamrita Compact by His Holiness Swayam Bhagavan Keshav Maharaj. Beautifully presented. The flow is wonderful. So,
Mataji,
Yes,
can you increase the font size?
let me see how
Please.
I can do that.
Please.
How do I do that? Somebody help me, please.
Mataji, there is a plus sign next to the arrow. Try that one.
Plus.
Yeah.
This one? Yeah.
Mataji, can you click on the slides so it will be clear.
Slides, okay.
On the right side.
On the right side.
On the top.
Oh, yeah. Okay, slide.
Right side. Slides with your.
Right on the top, Mataji, next
Right
to
on the top.
share.
Yeah, slideshow. Is that what you say?
Yeah.
Okay, slideshow. Okay. Oh, there you go. Thank you. Thank you for asking, Prabhu, and thank you for helping me. You've been I'm sorry that you've been tolerating it so far. This is so much better. So much better. Yeah, thank you. So this is what we are going to discuss now. Okay. This is a really compact one, Chaitanya Charitamrita. Let's see the flow. Flow of Gauranga as he descended on this earth planet. So, after Gauranga descended here, this invocation, this first part, is giving us more about the prayers and, as we just described, the Tattva philosophy. So, a lot of it was described here by Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami about who Panchatattva are, about each of those incarnations. Shri Krishna Chaitanya, Prabhu Nityananda, Shri Advaita, Gadadhara, Shri Vasadi. So the 5 aspects of divinity, they are described in detail in this invocation. Here in incarnation, the advent or descent of the Lord is described, and then his childhood pastimes. As he grew older, the education pastimes are described here. And the significance of each of these are here, when in the childhood pastimes, just by the pastimes, we can relate to how these pastimes are mimicking and so much in line with the pastimes of Lord Krishna. That's the significance here. And when the Lord grows bigger and he has this education, here, Nimai Pandita, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Krishna Chaitanya is the sannyasi name. Before that, he was called Nimai. Why was he called so? Because he was born under a neem tree, so all the villagers just call him affectionately as Nimai. And he was such a great Pandita. All his scholarliness, his prowess is exhibited in this episode of his pastimes, education. And what is the significance here? A person who had such prowess, scholarly prowess in all the Shastra, and has defeated all those scholarly people in various departments, Nyaya, Vaisheshika, and Sankhya. There are different limbs of philosophy. Somebody who has defeated all the limbs of the philosophy here gets transformed here. This is how it shows that all the jnana of different departments is only to culminate in bhakti. How, when somebody gets a taste of bhakti, how this jnana and everything is discarded as dry and tasteless. And that is the significance of these pastimes here in education. Just to show how much of a prowess he had in the jnana, only to show that everything of this is discarded to take a bhakti process. So here, as Nimai Pandita, he wins over all those great pandits of his times. And then he goes to Ishwarapuri and receives Harinam from him. And after that, receiving Harinam, the same Nimai Pandita is transformed. Until then, he was just very proud, scholarly person. But after Harinam, he was totally transformed. So that part is described here in transformation. And after he's transformed, he couldn't stop what he the flow of bhakti rasa that is coming out of him. The Harinam was just happening in the closed doors in Shiva Sangha, but that wasn't enough. It went on to the streets, that wasn't enough. And he wanted to give much more to the people around. But in that day and age, a sannyasi is given more of a respect, and his words are valued more than a grihastha. For that reason, Nimai Pandita, who was a household, took sannyasa from Keshava Bharati, and that's when the episode of renunciation starts. This is when Gauranga, this is when Nimai Pandita travels from Navadvip Dham and comes to Jagannath Puri. This is when the Madhya Leela starts. This is all Adi Leela until the sannyasi, until he takes up sannyasi. And after he takes up sannyas, Madhya Leela starts. He comes to Jagannath Puri and he has some interactions with Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya there. Yeah. And then after those interactions, after transforming Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, he moves to South India to do prachar there. That is the episode of propagation. And he comes back to Puri again after propagating the holy name in the whole of South India. After he comes back to Puri, then he tries again to go back to Vrindavan Dham. By this time, he has tried twice. Once after he got the Harinam Diksha. Second one after he got a sannyasa. He has already tried twice. The Lord tried twice to go to Vrindavan, but he couldn't go further. And the third time he tries, and this time he goes. This is where the Jharkhand Leela comes. He takes back route and then goes to Vrindavan Dham through Jharkhand forest. And there in Vraja, in Vrindavan, he meets the Goswamis there. On the way to Vrindavan, he meets Rupa Sanatana Goswami and he instructs them. So he gives specific instructions. Krishna Chaitanya, now he's Krishna Chaitanya. He gives specific instructions to Rupa Goswami to uncover the Leela Sthalis in Vrindavan. And he gives those instructions to Sanatana Goswami too, and also to write books. Write books in the sense, he gives instruction to propagate the Krishna Jnana, Krishna Tattva that he gave to Rupa Goswami and Sanatana Goswami. So those are the instructions. In this way, whatever Jnana and Bhakti Rasa that was given to Rupa and Sanatana, Krishna Chaitanya wanted that to go further, wanted that to be distributed to the future generations also. That is why he was organizing. Only when there is an organization, there can be an effective propagation. And effective propagation, effective and continued propagation. People may leave, when people have to leave their bodies, but organizations stay. And organizations are like gift boxes. And the message they had to propagate or gift to others is the actual gift. So, for the gift of Prema Bhakti to be given to future generations, Gauranga, Krishna Chaitanya, he was forming an organization through Rupa Goswami and Sanatana Goswami by establishing the temples and by writing the literature. Because temples stay, literatures stay, though the devotees have to leave the bodies. So any organization has these two things, a place and something in writing, so the propagation can happen. So this is what Krishna Chaitanya did through his associates and disciples. And after that, he's returning back to Puri. This return from Vrindavan to Puri, back to Puri, starts the Antilila chapter. When Krishna Chaitanya, Sri Krishna Chaitanya returns to Puri, then he does these two things. He encourages everybody who is practicing pure bhakti by appreciating them, and he corrects any the faults of the devotees so they can practice bhakti better. So these two things, Krishna Chaitanya was particular about it. As soft and gentle as he is. He did both of this, appreciated and encouraged the devotees when they're doing it right and corrected them. Actually, sometimes as a sannyasi, his punishment was severe too. But the devotees around him were more merciful. So even though he punished some of the devotees, but transgressing some etiquettes, the devotees around were kind enough to keep those devotees in their shelter and engage them in some kind of seva. So that's why it is said, more than the Lord, the devotees around are more merciful. We will see more here in this Antilila. So in that way, he associated with the Vaishnavas by appreciating and correcting them as needed for their benefit. He has done this all, and now time for isolation. He has done the prachar, he has done the organization, he has rectified the devotees, he has encouraged the devotees, assigned everything to everyone, and now it's time for his internal bhajan. He started isolating himself. This is the chapter of Gambhira, where the bhajan got so much more deeper. The bhajan, Harinam, when the Lord is doing on the streets, is at one level. When the Lord is doing in front of Jagannath in the Rath Yatra, is at a different level. The bhajan in Gambhira is totally different. All the Ashtasattvika Vikars, they happen here. So this is getting more internal in the bhajan, and that is why this is called Gambhira Bhajan. This is the bhajan that we are given, the Gaudiyas, not something very external. It's pretty deep. Yeah, so that is the last part of the Antilila, where the Lord is intoxicated with love for himself in the closed doors. So much so that the body could not take those ecstatic symptoms. And in that deep meditation, the 8 verses the only words that came out of Sri Krishna Chaitanya, lotus mouth, are Sri Sikshashtaka. The rest of them, all the books of Gaudiyas, they are all written by Goswamis. And those books contain the writings of Goswamis as they understood while they are having conversation with Gauranga Mahaprabhu. So there were books. Gaudiya Sampradaya has books, and all of them are from Goswamis. But nothing directly was given by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, except these 8 verses of Sri Sikshashtaka. And these 8 verses too, they were not deliberately given in order to transform somebody. No. They were just mumbled, and without his knowledge, Sri Krishna Chaitanya's knowledge, in his deep meditation, he just mumbled in trance those 8 verses of Sri Sikshashtaka. And this Sri Sikshastakam is like a treasure chest. It has Sambandha Abhideya Prayojana. And it has all the journey of bhakti, starting from sadhusanga till prema. And it has the whole roadmap of and actually different doors which are unlocked starting from Nam Namakari until the very verse, which are unlocked in light of the instructions of the Acharyas. Acharyas have the keys. These verses in Sri Sikshastakam are like, sutras. Sutras we don't understand. Somebody has to come and explain us. Like Brahma Sutras, we don't understand. That's why Vyasadeva came and explained us Srimad Bhagavatam. Like that Sri Sikshastakam, conditioned beings cannot understand the depth of that. So somebody has to come and explain. Acharyas did that. Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakura did that. Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakura did that extensively. In their explanation, they have given the possibility of how a conditioned soul can make one's journey from Chetodarpana Marjana, which is just getting rid of the dirt on the consciousness, to all the way Sarvatma Snapanam. Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakura says, one would get their spiritual body, Sarvatma Snapanam. And all that happens just with the Harinam. Sri Sikshastakam is about the Harinam. And not just Harinama. When Sri Krishna Chaitanya is there, the Prema Bhakti that he brought for us is already there. So that is a treasure chest. And Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakura said, this Sri Sikshastakam, this has the essence of all the Shastras and rasa of all the Goswamis. And he also said that this Sri Sikshastakam is not only to be understood, but to be lived. And this should be our state of consciousness. He calls it as perfect kirtana, samkirtana, where the whole being is in loving servitude to the Lord. That's about Sri Sikshastakam. So that is the flow of the nectar, dear devotees. Nectar of Chaitanya Chandra. Invocation, incarnation, education, transformation is all that is Adilila. And when he takes sannyasa, then Madhya Leela starts. Then Jagannath Puri comes to Jagannath Puri, goes to South India, renunciation, propagation, aspiration, and organizing the Bhakti movement in Vrindavan. That's all Madhya Leela. Coming back to Jagannath Puri and interactions with the devotees, appreciating them, correcting them. And finally, time to get deep within, intoxicated in his own love. And then final instructions, which came out in deep samadhi. That's Sri Shashtaka. That's the flow of the nectar of Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita. I'm going to stop here. Yes, stop. I will let you give your reflections or comments.